Our objectives in this lesson are to be able to recall essential geometric terms and classify and name basic geometric figures. Point. A point has no dimension. It is usually represented by a dot and names a location in space. For example, we will usually draw a dot to represent a point. We will name it with a capital letter nearby, such as capital A. If we need to name the point, we will write point A, always using capital or uppercase letters. A line has one dimension. It is an infinite set of points. So if we take point next to point, next to point, next to point, next to point, and we keep doing this an infinite amount of times, it's going to eventually be what you're used to seeing as a line, represented with two arrowheads, because the arrowheads mean that it extends without end, never ends. We can name this line with a lowercase letter right next to the line, such as lowercase l, usually written in cursive script. If we want to name it by points on the line, so I'm going to put some points on the line, I'll label these points B and C. Since they're points, we label them with uppercase letters, capital letters. I can name this by calling it line BC. I put the two named points next to each other and a hat that looks like a line right over top. So this is the way to name this line. I could also name it line L. Again, it's important to remember that a line never ends. Without end. It is without end. A line segment is a part of a line. It consists of two endpoints and all points between. So when I draw a line segment, it'll just be the set of points that I'm connecting to make it look like a straight line, but not a line because I don't show arrowheads. I can show the endpoints on either side. In fact, when I want to name the line segment, I will name it by using the endpoints. I'm going to name this endpoint D and this endpoint E. So I can write this as segment DE, and similarly to how this had a line hat, this has a segment hat. A ray consists of one endpoint. It extends without end, but in one direction. Without end in one direction. So that's going to look like this, but an arrowhead on one side. Point, arrowhead on one side. It doesn't matter which direction it goes. Endpoint could be on this side, arrowhead on this side. If I'm naming the ray, I name it with its endpoint and another point that's on the ray. So if I name the endpoint here F and here the endpoint on the ray as G, I would name it ray FG with the ray hat like that. If this is H and this is K, I still must start the name for the ray with the endpoint. Because the endpoint is K, I start the naming with K. K, H. Notice the endpoint is how we start the naming of the ray. Let's look at some examples. Identify the representation of the figure shown below. Then state its name. Number 1, this figure is a ray because I see an endpoint and then an arrowhead extending in one direction. So this is a ray, and we name it starting with the endpoint, WA, with the ray hat symbol over top. Number 2, can you think about what that is? Did you say segment? You would be correct. This is a segment because it has endpoint, endpoint, 2 endpoints. So we could name it CH or HC. Because there are 2 endpoints, it doesn't matter which one goes first.